Welcome back to the Thriving Business Podcast, everyone. We are very excited to be here with you again today. I'm here with my co-host Sam in Melbourne. Hello, Sam.
Hello, Kate.
So, just as a reminder to everyone where we are at on the journey of the roadmap to business success, we are today going to be wrapping up Quadrant 2, which is all about profitability and keeping the money that you earn and making it work for you. For those that haven't been with us on the journey, we started off in the revenue generating quadrant. We had our workshop on that topic last week, which was a great success. We had a lot of fun helping people get their revenue generating plan together. Um, we are currently just in the process of sending out their AI generated reports about how they can optimize their revenue generating strategy. So if you missed that one, don't worry. We've got our next workshop coming up on the 20th of May, which is all about profitability, making your money work for you. So far in profitability, we covered off money mastery, which is where Sam took us through the profit first methodology. Then we moved into pricing strategy, how to price your products and services for value, not time. And last week we had the very fun topic of AI systems for efficiency, we had a lot of fun with that. Um, and yeah, coming off the back of that episode, Sam, as she does, has been playing with AI. And today's episode is all about outsourcing and delegating, when to do that and how. And we started off when we hopped on the call today. Sam and I were talking about what she's been working with recently in AI. And she started telling me all the exciting things she's learned about Chrome extensions for Claude. I said, stop, let's just give everyone an update of what you've learned in this last week, coming off the back of our last episode on AI. And then we'll segue into outsourcing and delegating because it's all kind of part of the same topic, which is efficiency in your business.
Yes, and I think the two tie in so beautifully, particularly in everything that I've been doing over the past week. So I started telling you, Kate, about
Mhm.
the Claude Chrome extension.
Yes.
I mean, it's not a brand new thing, but it's the first time that I have had a play with it, and I absolutely love it.
Mm.
I've actually, this never happens to me. I actually chewed through all of my Claude credits using the Chrome extension.
Wow. Yeah, which takes a lot because you're on the pro plan,
I am on the pro plan,
the
yes.
medium tier or the top tier, because one of them's
Oh, not
about,
the top tier. I'm not
yeah.
that fancy with
Yeah.
AI.
So it's about 35 Aussie dollars a month. Is that right? So,
Something like that,
yeah,
yes. Yeah.
very
But I
affordable.
yeah, and considering the capability now, now that we've got Claude Co-work, we've got the Claude Chrome extension and Claude Design. Have you had a play with that?
I have not, no.
Have you heard of Claude Design?
I have not. Sam, you're here too.
Oh,
And I have to say, I love to usually pride myself on being, on the forefront of everything that's coming out, but no, I'm not currently. So you'll have to update me.
Oh, look, I don't want to speak too much right now about
Mm.
Claude Design, but
Hmm.
needless to say, game changer. I
Right.
haven't had a very big play with it. I haven't had time yet. I've been doing so much with
The
the
extension.
extension.
Okay.
So
And
the reason this ties in so beautifully today with outsourcing and delegation is the way that I've used it over the past week.
okay.
That is, as a brief sort of explanation of how this extension works, you open a tab on your computer and then you click on the Chrome extension and it then creates side by side window. You have Claude on one
Mhm.
side of your screen and the tab you have open on the other side. Now, where I started my week was feeling really, really unproductive and just feeling like I was getting bogged down in things and going down rabbit holes and not getting through all of the work that I need to get through.
Mhm.
Part of my problem I felt is that I did not have enough detailed steps within the tasks that I needed to complete. For example, Kate, doing work on the podcast,
Mhm.
thinking about the tools and AIs that I use to do my part,
Mhm.
you do your bit, I do my bit.
Mm.
But I didn't have enough detail in there of what I was using, when, how, etc., etc.
Right.
So I open up the Claude extension. I had my Google Tasks open, which is what I've been using. And I said, right, have a look at the tasks that I'm doing. I need these to be more details. These are the tools that I'm using, run comparisons of the tools, identify which tasks are most suited to which tools I already have. And I sat there and watched the magic happen while I played with my phone. So the Claude Chrome extension then in front of my eyes. First of all, it creates a plan of what it's going to do, and you approve the plan,
Okay.
and then you sit there and you watch it as it opens things up and assesses things and asks you questions, and it totally built out processes for me with lists of tasks and everything inside Google Tasks. And I
Wow.
sat there and played games on my phone while it did it.
This is actually amazing because the topic of today is outsourcing and delegating. And one of the things we talk about all the time is you can't outsource and delegate until you have processes in place that are going to set up the person to succeed, whether you're outsourcing, bringing in a virtual assistant or hiring someone, staff or contractor, they have to have systems in place to follow. Otherwise, they're going to fail. And we
Yeah.
see that all the time. So this is like the precursor to that process whereby we can now very easily set up these standard operating procedures, right? Is that sort of what you're talking about?
Yes, and in actual fact, this is exactly what I did using a different AI. But I did do this. I was at the point where our previous admin had left PSM. And
Which is your business that you run with your husband, an automotive maintenance
yes,
business, yeah?
yes. So the admin fell to me while we were in that gap.
Mm.
And I decided, I won't explain the reasoning behind because I can't remember now, but I decided I was going to go down the pathway of an Australian VA.
Right.
Um, I think there were a number of things there, like, me not having to be on site to do training. They all already
Yes.
come highly trained in things. But I knew that I didn't have things documented the way I would need for the VA to be successful. And I'd
Mhm.
had enough VAs over the time to know that this is critical in
Yes.
how successful the support you hire is going to be.
Correct. Which is why you typically, until recently, you have often needed an agency as a middleman between a virtual assistant and yourself, because the role of the agency is to set up the processes and procedures to enable that virtual assistant to succeed. And often the business owner doesn't know that process in a way that's going to, support that VA. So yeah, that's, in the past, Sam, when people would say, "Oh, can I have the contact details of your virtual assistant?"
Yes.
In the beginning would give the contact details, but and in the end they would always end up failing because the business owner just thought they could, bring this person in and get them to do all this stuff without clearly defining what those tasks are, clearly defining what success looks like, what the quality control points are along the way. And they would end up, failing. So then I'd start sending clients towards virtual assistant agencies because then the agency could control that whole onboarding setup process, quality control. But now it seems that that's something that we can actually do fairly easily ourselves.
Yes. Yes. And look, even there are certain areas in which I had operating procedures and things set up already. But the problem we have as business owners is that we often are doing things uh, like from muscle memory,
Mm.
like we just know how to do it. So when we create an operating procedure for someone else to come in and do it, we come at that task from a position of skipping over the nuances that make it either successful or a failure for
Yes,
someone else to come in and do
it's
it.
in the detail, isn't it? That, yeah.
Yes. And this is where AI has played such a fantastic role in even the operating procedures I already had set up. I was like, go in and review what I've done, identify the steps that are missing. But what I love about AI is the engagement. It's the questions that it's asking me about, like questioning why are you doing this here, why are you doing that, picking up all of the gaps that were in what I already had to make these operating procedures far more complete and
Mhm.
far more helpful to the person that needs to do the job.
Yeah, that's amazing. So if we And just as a side thought, someone said the other day that they'd heard on the podcast that someone said AI is the thing that is going to enable solopreneurs to become multimillionaires. And isn't that so interesting? Because until now, we've been constrained by cash flow, enabling us to do the outsourcing and delegating. But now, for such a low price point, you can outsource and delegate so easily and quickly, which means we're therefore freed up to do the revenue generating stuff, which
Mhm.
is very, very exciting. And the whole industry is going to have to adjust because virtual assistants will need to find a new role that's meaningful, in a way that actually adds value. So we're all having to adjust and shift.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are changing so quickly, and I find it super exciting
It is. It is.
and
And
it's
Kate, we
fun.
should also talk about, even the way that we used AI to produce the reports for all of our beautiful participants in the workshop last week.
Yes,
So when we say AI generated reports, let's be really clear about how we used AI to do that.
yeah.
We did those reports in NotebookLM,
Hmm.
and those reports were generated from the client's websites,
Yep.
from the notes we took, and from the transcript of
The
that workshop.
workshop discussion. Yeah,
So all based on actual things, because Notebook won't create anything outside of the sources that you give it.
correct. Yeah. So we actually fed it really good material, the
Yeah.
transcript of the workshop, which was a really rich discussion, then their websites and the notes that we took. And I've been quite blown away at the insight it's giving each of the participants based on that information about what they can do to increase their revenue
Yeah,
generations.
it was really exciting to see those reports come to
Yeah.
life.
Yes, it's amazing. And Sam, just to wrap up on the Claude extension piece.
Yes.
So um, basically, you have been using that to help you identify inefficiencies and then in how you're doing things, and then create new processes that are more detailed, that allow you personally to have more streamlined systems that you follow, as well as when you're outsourcing anything or hiring staff in your other business, that's all really clearly defined.
Yeah, so there are many different aspects to Claude alone. I'll just talk about Claude in this instance because you've got Claude Chat, and that is a really good environment in which to sort of brainstorm ideas and things. The Claude extension is really great for these one-off tasks. Like this isn't a recurring task. Recurring tasks are better off to live in Claude Cowork. Uh,
Right.
yeah,
So,
and of course Claude Design is of something very exciting that I'm going to play with this week, but that's all
and
about
I,
graphic.
I can't see it on the just looking at Claude. I can't see it as one of the options on the dashboard, but is that something, is that a whole other, how do you access Claude design?
That is a very good question. And
Yeah.
I believe I just Googled Claude Design and I
Right.
had to somehow. I can't remember now.
Okay. Hmm. We shall keep everyone updated.
Yes, yes, I'm going to play with it and then I'll tell you all about it next
But
week.
but I'm guessing it's something to do with assistance with graphic design and so
Oh,
on.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because
So,
someone introduced me to last week to the meta version of that. Uh,
oh, today.
yeah, and they ran an event on the weekend, and it had designed their banners, it had designed all their pop-up beautiful designs everywhere. It was just I was blown away. It's very remiss of me that I cannot remember the name of that, but apparently it's mind-blowing in terms of creating graphic design based on your branding. So
Yes.
yeah, Claude up until now did not have that functionality, which was quite, you know,
Well, they're highly, highly competitive. And so, yeah, Claude has once again stepped up to the plate. Particularly the integration with Canva, I'm very excited to sort of flex. But having said that, Canva has just updated their AI, and so that's doing a lot of fantastic things. And you can engage with the AI during the design process inside Canva.
right. Wow.
Yeah, so Canva's sort of really stepping up into this arena as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, uh,
Okay, we
we
digress.
digress. So automation, delegation, hiring.
Hmm.
They're
Correct.
they're really important components for, for businesses like ours that are running off one, three, five people. And in order to get that really scalable growth happening,
Mm,
you need more help. You need to be able to do things. The competitive landscape now, it's sped everything up exponentially.
mm,
And you're right, there was a long time where small business owners felt like they couldn't compete because they couldn't generate the marketing output and all the rest of it.
correct. Yeah.
And even service-based businesses like we are, what we are capable of producing now for clients is like worlds
Phenomenal.
away from when you and I first met, Kate.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. When we would spend 2 days writing a blog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Things have come a long way. So you said automate, delegate, hire, right? So is that right? You said that in that
Yeah,
order? Yeah.
those three things I think are really important, and they're challenging for entrepreneurs because we like to think that we are the special ones and we are the only ones that can do it our way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is the big downfall of many, many businesses.
Mm. Yeah, so the whole intention behind this topic is to free your time for the high value work that actually generates the revenue. So this is about knowing exactly what to hand off, when to hand it off, and who to bring in. So
Mm.
it's delegating without losing control or quality. Um, yeah, so the automation we've covered off in the last episode and even just today, some of the ways in which you can so easily automate things now to operate more efficiently. Yeah, the delegating piece. So you and I have been on this journey for years now, where as we talked about, we used to delegate to virtual assistants, and now we can do those things ourselves. So just as an example of that, this podcast production, we used to rely on a virtual assistant to do all the work, and now you and I've spent quite some time figuring out how do we use AI to do that ourselves in a relatively small amount of time, and now it's manageable for you and I to do that, and also quite fun. So
Yes.
it is fun using all these tools, but yeah. So when it comes to the topic of outsourcing, and we talked about the critical need to set up these standard operating procedures so that when you bring someone in, they actually can succeed in the role. What's some more, um, before we move to hiring, because that's the next logical step, right? Once you've automated, once you've delegated as much as you can or outsourced, then the next move is hiring. So we'll touch on that subject because you've been through that quite intensely in the last few months.
Yes.
But on the topic of outsourcing and delegating, what are some of the critical things we could share today?
I think that the first step in this whole process is to take the time to sit down and make a list of everything that you do.
Mm.
And if you can't remember everything you do, then just make a note of everything you do over the course
As
of a
as you're
week,
going.
for
Mm.
example. Yes, because the first thing you need to do is identify out of all the things that you're doing, what are the things that you absolutely hate and you're really awful at? Like they're just not sitting in a world where, it comes naturally to you to do.
Mm.
And,
And it's not
and we
linked.
are talking about zone of genius
Yeah.
versus zone of excellence, all of those things. But there's things that you hate. There's things that you don't mind doing
Mm.
and they're okay and you can probably do it pretty quick, but they don't really feel inspiration and joyful for you to do.
Mm.
You just can do it.
Yeah.
And then there are the
That would
things,
be the accounting for me.
and
Yeah.
then we've got the tasks that really make your day the best day it could possibly be. And those are the tasks that are sitting inside your zone of genius.
And typically the revenue generating ones.
And
Yeah.
they should be revenue generating.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Revenue generation should sit solely with the business owner, that
Mm.
responsibility.
Yeah.
So once you work out what you're going to do and what you're not going to do, then you've got to look through the list of what you're not going to do and work out whether that list, each thing on that list is something that can be automated or something that does need a human to do it.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. And we talk about systems before staff. You cannot delegate chaos. Simple systems must be in place before you outsource or delegate or hire, or that, as we've said, it's not going to work. So, getting that really clear overview, as you said, of what are all the things I do in my business, what are the things I only can do and that I love and that are the revenue generation, because we should. It's also being in your zone of genius. We know how much that influences your mindset and the positivity, and good things start flowing when you're operating in that space. So then, of all the stuff that's left outside your zone of genius, as you said, which parts can a human do? Which parts do a human need to do, and which parts can I get AI to work on for me? And I think we talked about this last week. You can ask AI that question as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Once you've got this list, this is where you can have this interaction and this brainstorm with your AI tool of choice
Mm.
and really help you sort through that, because working that out for some people is a real challenge,
Yeah,
as
it is.
particularly if you're not in the arena of automation and AI and you don't know the capabilities there.
Yes.
Really good to try and get some help to work out what that list looks like.
Mm. Yeah. And it sounds like things like now you've got all the tools at your fingertips. Claude in itself is just very good with its baseline. Is it Sonnet 4.6 is
Oh,
the
4.7 is the
7, is it?
latest. Yes.
Oh gosh, I'm not updated by Opus 4.7, is that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've got 4.7 now.
Wow, I need to switch over
There
because
should
I'm
be a
still on.
little thing in there telling you that there's an update and
Yeah. Gosh, okay. Yeah, there's just a little toggle bar that I've seen there that I
yes.
can start using Opus 4.7. Amazing, because I've already been blown away by the Sonnet 4.6. But yes, that is such a valuable tool just in brainstorming. Hey, this is what I'm doing in my business. Can you give me some guidance on how I can streamline and optimize so that I'm focusing on these tasks? Um, so yeah, basically we're saying figure out all the things you do, figure out which ones you can use AI for, which ones do you need a human to do. In that case, if you do need a human to do them, um, as we said, it's just about setting up really clear role expectations for that person. And now we're sort of moving into the hiring piece, which
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I've had, worked with small businesses where they have hired too quickly before they've got all this stuff in place, and it just goes pear-shaped every time. So, yeah, we then take a step back, get all their systems and processes in place before they hire someone. So, Sam, you've been through this process recently a lot.
Yes.
Tell us some of
Yeah.
the learnings you've had through your hiring experiences.
Uh, Kate, I'm going to tell you. So I have drawn from two gentlemen. Apart from my own experience working in auditing in the HR industry, also two gentlemen I've been listening to over the past, however many years when it comes to hiring and firing. One, Simon Sinek, as
Oh,
always, because, that's the leadership factor. But
yes.
the other person that I've listened to, and I've sent my husband like lots of TikToks and reels and things,
Okay, yeah.
Gary V,
Right.
because he does talk a lot about how he views hiring and firing and how he views top performers and how he, what kind of people he has and things like that.
Great.
The other one, which was a shock to me, was I came across a reel the other day and I actually used the content of this reel to get Claude to help me to generate a letter of offer.
Oh, great. Okay, tell us more.
And this reel was by Alex Hormozi.
Right, yeah.
Now, I have not been a Hormozi fan,
Hmm.
but I haven't seen any of Alex's stuff. I've only seen her husband's stuff. I haven't seen her stuff. So there were five key elements that she was talking about with business, which I absolutely loved, and I incorporated that. But what I want to say first of all is
Sorry,
for
when
the
you say she, because Alex Hormozi is a
oh,
man.
sorry. Yes. Alex Hormozi is the man. What's his wife's name?
Oh, okay. Not sure. Let's look. But they're in business together, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's her name?
Um,
Layla.
Layla, okay. Yeah. Layla Hormozi. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh
Prominent
gosh.
entrepreneur, investor,
I don't hope the
co-founder.
Hormozi fans don't come for me.
But yes, they have a huge following. They have scaled
Yes.
together businesses to over 200 million in yearly revenue.
Yes.
So
Yes.
their main website is acquisition.com, which is focused on scaling operations and business development. Is that right?
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of Alex Hormozi's style.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning his abilities at all,
Mm.
but just his style, it just doesn't click with me, that's all.
Yep. Yep.
But I did see this reel and I was like, that is brilliant. I'm going to use it. And
Mm.
I should bring up the 5 key elements that she included. I'll do that while I'm talking.
So
So
she's actually a first generation Iranian American, it seems. Transitioned from facing personal financial struggles to building a multi-million dollar empire. Is that Layla or Moazim?
yeah,
She definitely looks very Persian.
she's beautiful,
Yeah.
very beautiful looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are digressing. That she did a reel that you saw or a TikTok, and there were
Yes, she did.
five key things that she talked about.
Yes. So the 5 key things that she talked about in business, and the first one was compliance. So you need to have your compliance in order, and that's your operating procedures and your policies and things like that. So you've got to
Hmm.
have that in place.
Yeah.
Systems and processes,
Hmm.
have those in place.
Hmm.
Leadership,
Mm.
which we know is a very big one.
Yeah.
You've got to relate to yourself as once you start hiring people, you have to position yourself as a leader. You can no longer just identify as this business owner
Mm.
because the mindset behind a business owner is very different from the mindset of a leader.
Mm. That's right.
And you do need to transition over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And we will be getting to that in the fourth quadrant of our thriving business wheel, which is all about leadership. But
yes,
yeah.
yes. The next one was quality and standards. So understanding what all that was. I actually should have got my phone out because I photographed that.
Mm. But that's
Um,
what we were talking about, the quality control checkpoints and making sure things are up to standard before being sent to clients or published online or social media, whatever it is.
yeah. Yeah. So number one was compliance, company rules, paperwork, that kind of thing.
Yep.
The second one was clarity, having a very clear job description.
Yes.
And also she said having for each staff member 30, 60, and 90-day goals,
Right.
which is very interesting as well, because a lot of
Yeah.
people don't do that. Number three is culture, and
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily what culture you have now, but having a clear understanding of what culture you want in your organization.
Yeah.
I love this. She described culture as the unspoken expectations within your
Mm-hmm.
organization.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Number four was connection. So that's the way in which your team all connects with each other.
Right.
And number five, she said, was check back. So that's having regular communication with people, doing one-on-ones, things like that, and making sure that there is two-way communication for people, which is really open.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, so I did incorporate that. But um, what I wanted to go back to was when you decide that you are in a position where you need to hire someone, the first
Mm-hmm.
thing is that should be a financial decision before it is a I'm desperate, I have too much work decision.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in a position financially when you can afford to hire, that That means that you can do what Gary Vee says, which is hire slow and fire fast. And I
Mm.
really think that's an important point, is that you
Mhm.
really want to try and make sure that you are hiring the right person. Because when you are desperate and under pressure with workload, you
Mhm.
tend to skip parts of the hiring process that are critical to making sure you're bringing the right person on board.
Interesting. I love that. Hire slow, fire fast. Yeah.
That's a good one. That one definitely stuck with me. Thank you, Mr. King.
Yeah.
The next one that I wanted to talk about with regard to hiring was don't just look at the skill set that is listed on paper. Just because somebody does, just because somebody's capable of doing a job does not mean that you should hire them. Sometimes the less skilled person is the much better hire
Hmm.
because what they value should align with what you value,
Correct. Yeah.
rather than just that they can tick off a list of skill set that they
Yeah.
need
Skills
help.
can be learned, but it's the attitude and the emotional intelligence that someone brings that is more important. Yeah.
Yes. The other thing too, Kate, is try not to hire a carbon copy of you.
Hmm.
Because the whole benefit of having a team or having, even one other person is the ability to have fresh eyes look at things from a different perspective.
Yes.
And if you've got someone that sees things just the way you do, then you're creating massive blind spots for yourself in your
Correct.
business.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is where we often bring in like personality profiling tools where, you hire the opposite of what you are. So if you're someone who's big picture and, action oriented, yeah, strategy oriented, then you need someone who's focused on the detail and can pick up, loves working in the detail. Yeah. So complementary to yourself, not the same as yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I like to think of the team as a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes, and you have to have
And
all the
and
pieces.
you're just one piece, but you need all different kinds of pieces to
Yeah.
make this jigsaw complete.
Yeah.
So so yeah, don't
Yeah.
just think you I know the initial reaction is I just need another me, but the other me you need is skills based and not personality based or
Yeah.
values based or.
Yeah, yeah. And so what you were saying was you asked Claude to develop a job description based on those five elements that Layla or Hormozi came up with. Is that right?
I included them in the letter of offer. I
This
did
is great.
actually, yeah. So I've been through the hiring process many, many times
Mm,
now and had lots of failures at it
mm.
and learnt lots of lessons along the way. And the point I've reached now is understanding that it all starts with how you write the ad
Yep.
you're going to put up looking for the person.
Because it
And
sets the tone and the expectation, doesn't it? Yeah. And it filters out those that are not in alignment with that culture that you're seeking or yeah.
yeah, so I have Claude help me write the ads,
Yeah.
and I always start by saying, this is the kind of person I'm looking for first.
Hmm.
The skills come next because obviously, there has to be, like I'm looking for a particular trade.
Yeah.
So obviously they have to have trade qualifications. Can't get
Correct. Yeah.
around that.
Yeah.
And we don't run apprentices in our business. We can't do that. So
They
they
have to
need
be
to be trained.
qualified. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to have specific licenses, that sort of thing, to be able to do the work. But as a small team, we do need a cultural fit.
Yes.
So it starts right at the ad, where if you write the ad to suit to appeal to a particular kind of person, number one, you're going to start attracting better candidates that suit your
That's
business.
right. You're filtering out the ones that just don't resonate with that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
it really starts there in considering how you're actually going to
Yeah.
advertise.
So if you had just a generic skills-based ad and you might get 1,000 people apply, but you've got to filter through those, or let's just say 100 people apply, you've got to filter through all those 100 applications,
Yeah.
which, yeah, just vary vastly. But if you have a very specific um, job description, then you'll get 100, you might only get 50 people apply, but they're much more homed into the cultural fit that you need.
Yeah. Now,
Mm.
I'll give this one away. Uh, I put an Easter egg in my job ads. So at the very end, I give them a keyword that they must use in their cover letter.
Oh.
Because one of the things I'm looking for in a candidate is attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
So a little thing like that can straight away eliminate all the people that don't drop that keyword
Yeah.
into the cover letter.
Because again, you can use AI and say which applications
Exactly.
use the word
Exactly. Scam.
Easter egg. And if they don't, then they're out. Yeah, absolutely. Because the
Yeah.
people, when they're looking for jobs, just get into that habit of sending a blanket letter, which is the worst thing you can do. Like you've got to really take the time to specifically address an application.
Yes. What I
Yeah.
had most recently, Kate, was really interesting because I had, the hire that I've most recently done, I started the ad in one job category on Seek. And then the candidates that were coming through, I'm like, no, this isn't working. They're not who I'm looking for. So I changed the category on
Mhm.
Seek so that it was advertised under a different type of job.
Right.
And what I noticed was, and I don't quite know how this works in Seek, but I was still getting a lot of applicants based on the old category. And it's so evident to me that people are churning out these, application letters. And
Yeah.
even the people that had written a cover, I think it was a copy paste job, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So, looking for people that were doing things like actually writing a cover letter instead of just dumping a resume on the
And
on
they'd
the
actually researched your company and they know what you do and they yeah.
yeah, use the company name in the letter of application, actually address the criteria that we'd listed in the
Which you
job.
think would be a fairly minimal thing to ask. Yeah.
Yes, and like honestly, I'm blown away by the people that are out there in the job market looking for work, like the qualifications and skills, and I find it fascinating looking at people's job history and what they've done. It's amazing, but the incompatibility with the actual job that I was hiring for,
Mm.
it's like, you know, supremely overqualified people,
Mm.
but not qualified at all for the work that I had listed in the job ad.
Yeah, yeah, which is sad, isn't it? That's the state of the economy, it seems, at the moment. So many highly qualified people just without work. It highlights to me, though, the importance of learning entrepreneurial skills and knowing how to make money on your, from your own initiatives, which, yeah, people always said to me that being an entrepreneur or being a sorry I suppose are small business owners as opposed to entrepreneurs who take an innovative product to market with the intention to sell and move to the next project and acquire lots of different businesses but even as small business owners, people used to say to me, oh, that's so risky, I could never do that, it's so risky. And I think, well, being an employee is more risky than having the ability to control your own destiny. Like at least I can't, yes, it's hard being responsible for your own revenue and but you're in complete control. Whereas as an employee, you're at the whim of, whatever the company decides if they're firing, as they do go through cycles of, laying off then yeah, I feel like in this day and age, having those entrepreneurial skill sets is just a critical way of you know, staying in the game.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
The other thing too that I wanted to mention was transitioning from, like when you think about, I said earlier, write down all the tasks and work out the tasks you're going to delegate. And then you have to sort of shift your mindset again from I just want a person who's going to complete these tasks to
Mm.
looking at that list of tasks and saying what area of responsibility do they fall under
Yeah.
and give the person the responsibility and not
Yes.
the task.
Yes. That's really important.
It is in this job market, people are looking for more than just a job where well, I say this, but then I kind of retract it in my head.
Given past experiences of people that just want to get the
Want to
paycheck
walk
and not,
in,
yeah,
tick a list of tasks off and go home.
yes, there are those people
Look,
out there. Yeah.
small business owners can't afford to have those kind of employees. So the
No.
kind of employees we're looking for are the ones that are going to take ownership and take responsibility and really run with it.
Yeah.
And while it's important that you have your systems documented, it is also important to give them ownership and a little bit of autonomy to improve on what you've already created.
Mm.
Because this is where you're going to get a return on investment from staff.
Yeah. 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 I remember listening to a guy who runs a very successful drainage company here in Perth. Drainage in the sense that they go into construction sites. I don't know if that's the right word, but they pump out all the groundwater. It's a really, really
Mm.
critical process they have to go through before they can build. And he started out on his own with it and then started bringing people in, eventually built up this amazingly successful company, sold it off, and now he just consults back as an executive director. But he always said the most important thing when hiring was to give that person a long-term vision of what's possible for them in the company if they succeed in their role, whether it's equity in the company or some financial incentive. But he said it's so important that they see that they are coming in to help grow the business, even as an employee on the floor, that their role is important and has greater meaning, and really trying to find those people that want the longevity, want the ownership, want the accountability to build something great, and then they're motivated by whatever that end result is, whether it's, a financial, but that purpose is what drives us as humans, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, building a business with those kind of people is what helps you succeed long term. Mm,
Yes, yes. I think I've seen quite a few places where they've said you can't put a price on loyalty. And
mm,
where I think you get loyal employees is understanding the relationship and what has to be given in both directions.
mm,
Because there's a lot of complaints from employers, business owners, about, having to pay people to do things. And, there's a lot of discussion about cost of living. And look, do you know, Kate, a few months ago, I thought I thought Seek's had enough of my money. I'm going to try Facebook groups just to look for
to
staff.
recruit. Yeah.
Oh, that did not last long.
Okay.
The the trolls that attacked me for the hourly rate and
Oh, wow.
things like that. And I'm like, are paying well above the award. And they're like, I wouldn't get out of bed for that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Wow.
you people are nasty, really nasty.
And no idea. Yeah.
No, no. And then I'm thinking about what happened to just wanting to go and do an honest day's work? Like
Yeah.
where did the work ethic go? Like I
Yeah.
know people have got to put food on the table, but you know,
Yeah.
it can be fraught with danger.
Yeah.
And then you get ghosted a lot too. That happens a lot in the hiring process. You're going to get like if you out of 100 applicants, there are going to be a percentage that, you'll whittle it down to a group, and then half of them are not going to respond to you.
Because they found something else or they're on to the next thing or yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
it
they
can
don't have the decency to just send an email saying, thank you, but I found something else. Yeah.
no, and that's probably because employers don't do that either.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a ruthless process, isn't it?
yes, and
Yeah.
there is a very, very vast gap in the communication between candidates and prospective
Mm,
employers.
mm. Yeah, I made the decision many years ago to not ever employ anyone in my business. And I think that's also choosing the thought leader path, right?
Yes.
As opposed to building a nuts and bolts bricks and mortar kind of business. But yeah, I just know from my engineering days in managing people that I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy looking at their timesheets, hearing their stories about why they need to take annual leave here and there, I love the craft of what I do, and I don't like the people. So I guess that's important to know for yourself as well, whether you are someone who can manage people and whether that's in your zone of genius. it depends on the type of business. Some businesses obviously need to recruit and grow and have staff. That's just a non-negotiable. So in that case, you've got to learn the skills and learn to like the people management and
Yes.
yeah, but it's not for everyone, that's for sure. But if we were to, because we have to, oh, and I was going to say as well, the engineering company that I worked in, it was employee owned. So we as employees were business builders, and to become a shareholder in the business was the ultimate goal, which I did after about 5 years of working there. I was invited to be a shareholder, and that is that incentive I was talking about, where now you're actually officially recognized as a business builder, and therefore you get the dividends from the shares every year, which was significant. It was like a bonus of 20K and upwards a year. And that incentive is what then incentivizes, us to keep growing the business. And it was that whole purpose meaning thing that suddenly took on a whole new life. So I think that's a really powerful structure for service-based businesses. But that's a
Yes.
whole other, topic. But if we were to wrap up our key takeaways from today around automating, delegating, outsourcing, and hiring, how would we wrap this up with a nice little bow?
Oh, do the groundwork before you decide anything.
Mm,
Do those little things that we've talked about throughout the episode. Write down what you're doing, write down the stuff you want to keep doing and the stuff you don't want to do. Work out what has to be done by a human, and people management needs a human.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but like checking my calendar and fixing my email inbox and things like that, that's all AI stuff.
Yeah. Mm,
And then think about what kind, do a bit of soul searching and really identify what kind of person you are and what kind of person you need to balance out you in the business,
mm,
giving a much more well-rounded perspective to what you're doing.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So hope that's been helpful to everyone today. Just remembering that systems come before staff and,
Yeah.
you know, creating order in the realm before attempting to bring anyone else into the business, and making sure you're very clear on the expectations and the outcomes that are required. And yeah, we hope this episode has been helpful. This wraps up the quadrant on profitability and keeping the money you earn, because obviously running efficiently is very, very important to profitability.
Mm.
So yeah, we're moving on now. Our next episode will be in the third quadrant, which is all about capacity and growth. So that's about scaling, about delivering consistent, excellent client service, about building a strong team, and your business model to scale. What's the business model that's going to give you the biggest capacity for growth? So
Mm.
lots of exciting topics coming up. And then following on from that, we'll have the leadership quadrant. So yeah, we already have some people signed up for the workshop on the 20th of May. So if you would like to come along and discuss all things profitability, we will be having 90 minutes of live coaching. So Sam and I will be answering all your questions. So we would love to see you there. It was a great success, the last one we did on revenue generation. So yeah,
Yeah,
please come
came
along
out
and
of that
join us.
one feeling really, really invigorated by that conversation and
Yeah.
just, how much everyone contributed and how much everyone got out of it was amazing.
Yes, and we're still sending out their personalized reports for them to work on. So yes,
Yes.
and everyone coming to the workshop on the 20th of May will also walk away with a report, personalized report on how they can improve profitability in their business.
Yes.
And for those who are keen, our retreat is coming up in August, the 27th of August to the 1st of September. So put it in your diary. Let us know if you want to lock in your space with a deposit. We just need a $200 deposit to secure your spot. And yes, come join us in the transformational experience where we bring all of this business building stuff together into a strategic plan for you.
Yes.
Woohoo! All right, everyone, we will see you in the next episode. That's all from us. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.